You don't have to be a pro to have block starts like a pro. My name is Chase Wheeler and I'm obsessed with helping people reach their speed goals. The first fundamental of block starts is having a routine. Right? We are, as humans, very susceptible. Like, we can't do anything well without a routine associated with it. You think about your sleep routine, think about your wake up routine. Routines are primers to set you up for what you want to achieve. Similarly, your block start routine is a way to prime your brain to get ready to do a perfect block start. You don't want to be thinking while you're doing your block starts. You want your program to take over, because when we have a set program, we operate much faster than when we're thinking. We're actually 20 times faster. We want that 20x speed, so we need our program to kick in while we're setting up our blocks. So the question I have for you is, do you have a block routine? And if your answer is I don't know, then that means you don't have a block routine. The second part of block start fundamentals is that you want to do ballistic jumps. We're moving out of the mental aspect of block starts here. Now we're getting into the physical aspects, and ballistic jumps are just going to be 2 jumps that you do before you begin to even start your block routine, right? You want to, again, activate, you want to prime your body to be ready to have explosive power out of the blocks, and ballistic jumps are the way to do that. Another question I have for you is, do your ballistic jumps put the fear into your competitors? If you were watching you do your block start routine lined up against all your competitors, would you pick on yourself to win the race just based off of your ballistic jumps? Now moving into the third part of the checklist, which is loading the pedals. This is one of the most important pieces of the block start. How you load your pedals is going to ultimately set you up for success or for failure in your block start. So we want to pay attention. If you want to get your film reviewed live, click the link below. When we load our blocks, do we feel connected, planted, and centered on the blocks? Because if you don't, it's a problem, but don't worry, it's an easy fix. First, you want to load your back foot. So before your knees are down, before your hands are where they're supposed to be, you want to load the back pedal first. Make sure that that foot is all the way against that back pedal. And then you want to load the front pedal. Make sure that foot is all the way on the front pedal. And then you want to put both knees down. The knee conversation is one where you can have both knees, you can have one knee, but really what it's about is loading those pedals. And we'll go over what to do exactly with your knees in the next step. Checklist number 4 that you want to make sure is that your hips are square and that you're not sitting back in the blocks. So the reason that 2 knees down is helpful, after you've loaded back foot, then front foot, then both knees down, what people will do when they're allowed to raise their front knee is that they like to rock back and try to load the pedals that way, but that takes off away from the power from your hips. In number 5 is going to be avoiding bad angles. Another mistake that I commonly see is that people don't bring their hips high enough. When you come to set, it's about only raising your hips, raise them straight up, don't let them rock back. When you raise them, you want to form a triangle with your hips to put you in a good position. And if you are uncertain about how high do you come in the set position, right? Because you have people that are too low, you have people that come up way too high. An easy tip to find out what height your hips should be is that when you come to set, you want to make sure, we talked about loading the pedals, that you come to set and that back pedal is loaded fully, and that will ultimately put your hips in a much better position. And the 6th tip here is how to avoid poor reaction time. The 6th fundamental is having great reaction time by using your arms. You want to know which arm is supposed to shoot forward first based off of which foot is first. And you want to avoid shoulders over hands. You want them to be, shoulders over line. You want them to be shoulders over hand with a slight bend. And I'm going to give you one more pro tip. We did not discuss what distance the pedals should be from the line, because each person is a little bit different and you have different techniques. Some people use their feet to measure. Some people use a tape measure. The easiest advice I can give you is 2 steps to the front pedal. So you start from the starting line, you measure 2 feet to the front pedal, and then you go back to the starting line and you measure 3 feet to the back pedal. You want to build a bridge to the perfect block start. But each block session you do, every video that you watch, is just 1 brick to the bridge. So you've done a certain number of block starts, you watch videos, you try to improve it, you have 200 bricks that you've laid along the bridge, but the bridge is 1,000 bricks long. So Don't try to judge the bridge based off of 200 bricks, right? And on top of that, you have bricks that were not set right because it was a bad technique or bad advice from a coach. So those bricks also have to be replaced. Continue to build your bridge and then judge your block start after you've built the full bridge. If you remember nothing else, first is always have the same routine. Second is load those pedals.